Hey everybody, it's the Board Game Blogger. Today we're taking a look at Ticket to Ride, the Anniversary Edition. Now this is basically the main original board, Ticket to Ride, the North American map of the United States and Canada. And there's kind of some additional, really neat trains, it's overproduced. And that's what you're expecting in an Anniversary Edition, of course. You've got really neat kind of model trains. They're really well done. My wife loves it. She is wanting to play this system, this Ticket to Ride system, a lot more now that we've got these additional kind of really neat looking trains. The components are excellent. The 5 colors all have sort of unique designs, and take a look at the components a little bit more. But very good components for the trains, and it's basically a set collection game where you're collecting sets in order to build routes across, North America. And it's a very good family style game. There's very limited player interaction though. Some people, they'll play games like Catan, they like those family games because of all the player interaction, the trading and everything. And you don't really have that here at all. You're just drawing cards and building routes. And the only player interaction is you can kind of guess what somebody's doing and block someone's route based on that. And so the routes come on tickets, so you might have to go, from Dallas to New York. That's a set route. And, there's only so many cards out there. So there's a huge advantage to people who've played the game multiple times over a novice, as opposed to some other game without that kind of hidden information. So that's something to consider if you're wanting to play this with new players. If you've played multiple times, you're going to be at such a huge advantage. Not just knowing better strategies, but knowing the cards is going to give you a massive advantage. And so it may not be the best game to really introduce people to, but because of that, it's not the best game to introduce people to, but if you're already kind of mastered it. However, the game's not that complex either. So it kind of fits into this kind of gray area. It's really like a family game for people who kind of play it often. And, if you're looking for something in that genre, this, may be a good game, but it's also, limited player interaction. I think this is probably really good for families with children, where you don't want the children, directly attacking each other, and you're just trying to, have them kind of play their game. May lead to some passive-aggressive stuff, though, with, the blocking. So it's just, this is a game that really doesn't fit in anything. I don't really think it's that good of a gateway game. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a great gateway game. Mechanically it is, but not if novices are playing people who've played it 5-10 times. Whereas you can play a game like Settlers of Catan, which I don't think is a very good game because of some of the mechanics involved, and you can set up lame duck issues. But other types of gateway games, Carcassonne and so on, without that hidden information, while a more advanced player is going to employ better strategies, it's not going to be such a blowout with this hidden information. So, I think I'm kind of rambling at this point, but it's just, this is a very niche, targeted type of game. It's too simple for, really heavy gamers. And then that hidden information on the tickets and knowledge of what can potentially be on your opponent's tickets is going to be such an advantage to someone who's played multiple times. That this really is a family game. It plays quick. You're going to play it in an hour or less, and that's kind of where you're at. It's a family game, multiple plays with the family. And if that's something you're looking for, check this out. The components are great, and that really adds something. My wife wants to play this just because the components are nicer in this game than in some other games. We're playing some of the other maps as well, and if people want, I can review some of these other maps out there. Just put a comment on the video if that's something you would like to see. For the rule book, you know, this thing is massive because it's in so many languages, you know. I think this thing's already sold out. There was really no reason to do this. You know, they could have done, you know, anniversary print run in French, anniversary print run in Spanish, anniversary print run in English, and so on. You know, the market's out there for it, but, you know, now I've got this massive rule book, and the English is just this. It's just this first page, double-sided. So this rest is just, you know, worthless. And then because they tried to stuff so many languages in this rule book, they don't even have all the rules here. So they've included components for you know, the 1910 cards. There's some mystery cards there. I have no idea what these mystery cards do. I've never, you know, bought in that variant outside of anything else. And the rulebook doesn't tell me. The rulebook doesn't tell me how to play this, you know, 1910. Or, you know, this big cities variant. Some cards have big cities on it. Clearly there's some kind of big cities variant out there. And Days of Wonder decided to not print a good rulebook. So this is, you know, I think I've attacked other rulebooks as being like really bad rulebooks for like how it's written and like, you know, translated. I mean, for the rules that are written here, it's good and it's clear and it's concise and I can, you know, understand the game. But you're missing a massive amount here, and you've added in tons of unnecessary languages. When the demand here is big enough that you could have printed the game separately. So it's really disappointing in Days of Wonder, you know. I think as a company, you know, Days of Wonder's almost jumped the shark. You know, they're just, you know, resting on their laurels. They really haven't come out with a new game that's very innovative in years. You know, a lot of them just haven't taken off. You know, Coliseum. I don't think, you know, you could get those for like $20 for so long. Now that it's out of print, people are kind of elevating it. But you know, at the time it wasn't big. Got that Relic Runners. Never really took off. The Mystery Train. I think there's that kind of smuggling game. I can't even remember it now. Cargo Noir maybe. And I mean, they haven't had a good game in years. They're just, you know, relying on basically Ticket to Ride, Memoir 44, and Small World, and just, you know, adding to that systems. And it just seems like they're just going through the motions. I mean, that rulebook's a perfect example. So, you know, it's a shame because, you know, they had a good thing going for them for a while. And, I mean, they're still coming out with stuff. I mean, look, I went out and I bought this anniversary edition because, you know, I thought it'd be good. And, you know, when they come out with another Ticket to Ride map, I'll, you know, likely pick it up, you know, if it's good. It's just, it's a company that could be doing just so much more. And it's just kind of a shame. But why don't we take a closer look at the components here. You know, there are a few issues. This map board's been printed in China, and people have talked about, you know, warping. You know, they really liked, you know, some of the maps that when they were printed in Germany, they're great. But then, you know, maps like the African map, it's printed in China and then it warps. So, you know, I definitely have, you know, there's some nicks and scratches that were on the board, you know, when I bought it brand new. Hopefully, you know, it's not going to warp, but it is made in China. It's not made in Germany, the map board. So if that's a concern for people, you need to be ready. Some people have said, oh, the trains are too big and it's not compatible with these other maps. I mean, that's just not true. I've played it with other maps. I mean, it doesn't fit perfectly, but it's not like so out of proportion that it doesn't work. So you don't need to have that concern. If that's your concern, it's like, oh, I want to get these trains to play with the other maps. It works just fine with that. But let's take a little bit closer look at the components. So here's the map of the board. You know, looks great. I've mentioned, I think I play it a lot with just my wife. You know, the game plays really well, 2-player. You know, you're drawing cards, and they've got brand new art here for the 10th anniversary edition. So you simply draw cards, and you're going to draw 2 cards. You can do random cards or face-up ones. If you're drawing a face-up wild, you only take 1. And then, on your turn you can continue to draw cards, or instead for your 1 action, you can basically build sets. So if I already have here, 3 green cards in my hand, I'll simply play them, and then I will play down the trains. I'm not really going into big in-depth how to play this game, as I am, doing an anniversary edition review. So, you have tickets and you're connecting cities here, Sault Ste. Marie to Oklahoma City, and on the map you're just trying to connect a route. So, you can see here we've got the blue trains come in this nice tin, Metropolitan Rapid Transit. That's kind of what the car looks like. They're pre-painted. They really look great. You've got green, and they've got these cabooses. Looks fantastic. I think you can hear a train in the background. That's pretty appropriate for this review. You've got the sort of coal car for the black player. Really looks nice. The yellow player kind of looks more like brown. They've just got this yellow stripe here, and they got some kegs. And then this is the one my wife always likes to play because it's the circus animals. And if you look closely here, you can see the giraffes. Really looks great. I haven't actually tried this with some other games, non in the Ticket to Ride series. But, it may work, for other games, just showing your pieces on. But, it's new artwork. It looks pretty well. Some people may, they're just trying to collect the different artwork on the cards. And, of course, everyone is going to have 45 trains, and the game will end once someone goes down to just 2 trains or less. So I was saying, there's some issues in the board. I don't know if you can kind of see this here, but there's definitely some deformities kind of with the board already. And this, I have played this game multiple times, but this is how it came. When I just opened it fresh out of the box. So this was, a Chinese board. It's not a German board. And that's something I think people need to consider and think about. Very expensive, for this game. I got it, discount seller online. So, not retail, but it's still a ton of money. Is it worth that value? I don't know. I think based on these trains, it kind of is. Just because they're just a ton of fun. My wife wants to play this game more because of it. I can transfer it into, other games, potentially. I haven't done it yet. And, but the rule book's an atrocity for an established company to just ignore rules, put in components, and not explain how to use them. It's pretty bad. The board looks great. It could have been double-sided, though. Why didn't they have, as an anniversary thing, do you want to sell more copies? You make this, and then you have a brand new map that's only in the anniversary edition for the other side. They didn't, it's just, they got some nice artwork here. So clearly, they spent the money to print on the back, and yet they couldn't print a new map. It doesn't really feel like an all-out anniversary edition like a lot of other companies do when they do their anniversary editions. If you already own the American map, and I hadn't, I'd gotten into Ticket to Ride through the Europe, so I didn't already have the map of America. I think it's justified. If you already have the North American map, I don't know. I think it's really hard to justify the purchase price. Anyway, till next time on the Board Game Blogger.